Do your people want to be around you? Like, are you alone? Are you lonely? Because if you are, I want you to ask yourself if your people want to be around you. There's a lot of leaders that are out there that they have the position, but they don't actually have any loyal team members that want to be around them. And you and I both know that if we want to accomplish anything in life, and if we want to live our purpose in life, and we want to fulfill that purpose and make a difference, that mission is a big mission. We're going to need more than just ourselves. We need a team. But your team is a reflection of you. So if you have no loyal team, what does that say about you? Guys, in this video, I want to help you guys build a more loyal team. You should not be a lone leader. You should have a team. Okay? If you don't have one, we have to fix that. Because I know by you watching this video that you're a purpose-driven leader. You want to do something and make an impact before you die. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you some strategies that will help you improve your leadership, help elevate you from either a bad to good or good to great leader. All right? You want to be a great leader. You have to be a great leader. Stop thinking that being a great leader is outside of your reach. You can be a great leader. There is a great leader inside of you. And I'm going to break down and I'm going to give you the traits that I picked up, the habits that I learned by watching the great leaders that I served with in the military and in entrepreneurship. You want these habits. You want to be one of these people because there are so many people and businesses out there in the world that are doing absolutely nothing to better our economy and better the world. A friend of mine sent me a video yesterday, and he said that there was that somebody created an AI OnlyFans page that was creating, basically they were making something like $100,000 a month or something off of this AI fan page or OnlyFans. And my response to him was like, man, people will really build anything for money. And when I got into the business that I'm in, coaching, consulting, leadership development, high performance, mindset training, I knew I wanted to do something that made a difference. I knew I didn't want to start a business that was going to bring society down. I wanted to build it up. Why is it that so many people don't give a shit about building up our economy and don't want to do their part? Why is that? Why do we have so many selfish people? They look for that quick buck. That is no way to live. And the great leaders that I served with in the military, they were servant leaders. They were leaders that led by service, by serving and improving everything around them. That's how we need to be. So guys, for those of you who don't know, I grew up leading my brothers. I grew up a leader on my wrestling team. I wasn't like a jock, but I got thrown into a leadership position. I was like, I think I mentioned it before, I was like a hacky sack kid. Then I went to basic training. I was a student leader in basic training for 7 out of the 9 weeks that I was there, maybe even closer to 8 weeks. When I was an enlisted soldier, I got tossed leadership responsibilities. I started leading a team after about 18 months in my unit. And then I went green to gold. And when I got into ROTC, I was a student leader there. I was a detachment commander. And then as an infantry officer, for the entire time that I was an infantry officer, the majority of my time was on the line with the guys leading and not on staff. I actually only had about maybe like 4 months of staff time, which is administrative time, when I was an infantry officer. And the rest of the time I was either a platoon leader or commander, or in a military school. But point being is that I've got decades of leadership exposure and experience. But I'm not here to share my leadership traits and strategies with you. I think I still have a lot of work to do, but what I can do is give you the traits of the exceptional leaders that I served with. That way you can model them. When I was in the 75th Ranger Regiment, the majority of those leaders were exceptional. When I was in the conventional side of the military, there were many exceptional leaders. And fortunately, I had the honor of being aligned and serving alongside some of the best in the units that I was in. You know, for example, my first conventional commander, he was a guy that went on and he went into SMU, the Special Missions Unit, after his command time, which basically is a 3-letter agency where they do secret squirrel stuff. So he was at that level. He was the ranked the number 1 commander in the brigade. And then my entire military career was like that, where I had access and I just found my way to the exceptional leaders so I could learn from them. And what I picked up, the leaders in the 75th stood out the most. The leaders in the 75th, you know, my platoon sergeant in the 75th, he was an exceptional leader. That guy taught me everything about being a ranger. He showed me what I was. When I got around him, I got to see my gaps as a leader. I was sloppy. He was dress right, dress and clean. I was thorough. I was a little bit. I would kind of rush things. He was very thorough. You know. He would drill. We would do these airborne operations. And he would prepare for these airborne jumps more than everybody else that I saw. When we did FESOP, Force Entry Standard Operating Procedures, which is where you jump into a airfield as a ranger and you send a whole battalion in, so 1,000 plus people, and you take over that airfield and you do it all at night and then you leave before the sun comes up. So in FESOP, you train, you prepare, you do missions orders, you do briefs, and he would be the most put together person for that entire exercise. He was calm, cool, and collect. He had a temper. He wasn't perfect, but he channeled his temper and his anger, and he would use it to get the job done. He never attacked people. He attacked the objective with his anger. The battalion commanders, the command sergeant majors that I had in regiment, they had a lot of the similar traits that he had. They were, a lot of those leaders, a lot of those great leaders, they were stoic. You know, they were thorough, but they had an aura about them that made you feel good when you were around them. And I remember, you know, when you do FESOP and when you jump into an airfield, okay, you take a whole battalion into an airfield. That's a stressful mission because you're going to jump in. Basically what this looks like is you're going to spend weeks planning for this mission where you're going to seize an airfield. And when I was a Ranger platoon leader in the 75th, that was a stressful time for me because I was being evaluated on my ability to do my part of seizing the airfield. I had to brief a mission. I had to tell my battalion commander how I was going to maneuver on the airfield itself. And I had to be in the details with everything. I had to know my task, my purpose. I had to tell everybody I understood not just my mission, but the entire battalion's mission. And I had to bring it all together. And it had to be a no-fail mission. No fail. We would fly in at night, 8 o'clock or so, maybe jump out of the bird at about 10 o'clock p.m., jumping out of an airplane, pitch black. When you jump out of an airplane and it's pitch black, all you do is you look out the runway, you're up there with your chute on, maybe you got your rucksack or a pack between your legs, you're at the door, you're looking down, you got your helmet on, you got your static line running, you're getting ready to jump, the jump master's standing there, you're getting ready to jump out the door, and all you see is that the airfield lights, and you hear the wind just ripping by. So you just jump out with blind faith. Okay? Your helmet, immediately gets turned by all the wind. You go into a little ball, and you're just praying that your chute opens. And as soon as there's a lot of chaos because you're getting thrown around in the wind, and then all of a sudden your chute opens up and everything kind of gets quiet, and then you start trying to figure out where you're at. It's still night out. So you look around, it's actually kind of beautiful, and you look around, and you're still kind of thinking about you. You're like, oh man, am I okay? You're looking around, and you're trying to see if there's any other jumpers around you so you don't get in an accident, you don't like get tangled with them. And then you start thinking about landing on the ground. You're like, all right, I'm gonna hit the ground pretty soon. I am gonna shoot. Don't hurt yourself. And you start going through your performance measures, and you get everything nice and tight and ready. You get your knees together, elbows together. You hit the ground, and then from there, you recover your equipment, and you start gaining situational awareness. Try to figure out where all your guys are at, and start getting everybody together to maneuver and go do your part of the next mission. It's a very complex scenario, and every single person that's doing the airfield seizure is going to go through an experience like that, right? So when you briefing the boss and you're briefing each other, you have to be detailed and you have to be thorough, and there's a lot of pressure on doing things right. What I noticed with the exceptional leaders when I was there is that they were poised, they were prepared, and they went the extra mile in everything that they did. But I really want to give you 3 basic strategies and traits that these exceptional leaders had so you can adopt them today into your leadership and become better. Okay, number 1, the exceptional leaders that I have been around, the great ones. The first thing is that they built trust with their teams. Everybody trusted that leader. Okay, we'll call him Major Steele. Major Steele was the great leader. Captain Carl's the shitty one. Everybody trusted Major Steele. And the reason they trusted him is because they watched what he said and they watched what he did. And when you have a leader that says what they're going to do and they do it, the people around that leader trust them. Because the subordinate is trying to figure out if they can trust the leader with their life. Right? So how can they feel like they're going to be trusted with their life if that leader doesn't follow through on the simple things that they say they're going to do in their own life? So subconsciously, a subordinate will either gravitate towards or remove or take themselves away from a leader they do or do not trust. So if you want to build trust with your team, you have to become somebody that has a habit of saying what you're going to do and doing it over and over again. The simplest thing that you guys can do to develop trust with your team, your family member, your wife, your kids, your coworkers, is you tell them you're going to get in incredible shape and you do it. You say, I'm going to go get in incredible shape. I'm going to follow a detailed diet. I'm going to freaking follow a training plan. And I'm going to be so disciplined and so good. You guys are going to watch me transform. Watch this. And then go do it. And they watch you every single day work through the adversity. And they say, that's a man on a mission. I trust him I trust him because I'm watching what he does with his life. He trusts him. That man listens to himself. The second thing the exceptional leaders do that the poor leaders, the Captain Carls, don't do is that exceptional leaders are holistically successful. That's what I picked up on. That's what I noticed. Is that the good leaders, they could get the job done. The bad leaders, they couldn't get the job done. The great leaders, they could get the job done plus everything else. They might be imbalanced, but they get the job done and they're holistically successful. Like Major Steele, one of the Major Steeles in my life, he used to sit down every Sunday with his family, and he was a company commander, and he would sit down with his family every Sunday and he would have a household meeting on how they could do a better job as a household. He would build the culture in his home like he built the culture at work. Major Steele, he was the only guy I have had ever met when I was in the military that had an 800 credit score. He took care of his finances. He took care of everything in his life just the same way they took care of everything at work, with excellence. So I teach the Wheel of Life in one of my programs. And so the Wheel of Life has all the different areas of your life that make you up. So it has your spirituality, your relationships, your romance, your finances. It has your health. It has your fun. It has your material life, so where you live, the things that you own. It has your spirituality. So it has all these different components that make you feel happy and complete when they're maxed out. And Major Steele maxes out the Wheel of Life. He's constantly trying to improve upon it and make himself the best person possible. So great leaders, the reason why great leaders are holistically successful is because when you're holistically successful, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can transfer that feeling to your team. Guys, remember this. You can't transfer what you don't have. You cannot transfer what you don't have. If you want to transfer happiness to your team, love to your team, safety, security, you have to feel those things. You have to feel safe, secure, positive. You want your team to be positive, you have to be positive. How are you going to be positive if you hate your life, if you're not holistically successful? How are you going to have a good attitude if your finances are complete shit? How are you going to have a good attitude if you're not having any fun in your life? How are you going to have a good attitude if you're not spiritually full? The Conquer Wheel of Life is the tool that my mentor gave me, and he taught me how to use it, and now I teach it to mine. It's the thing that makes me feel the best. So your team, the greatest leaders that are out there, they make their team feel good. That's what people gravitate towards. They gravitate towards people they can trust, and they gravitate towards people that make them feel good. Not just pat them on the back and happy, but feel like they're around somebody that is abundant and successful. People love that shit. Okay, and the third thing that great leaders have, they have an obsession with their own leadership development. The Captain Carls out there, the worst leaders that I've ever been around, they didn't give two shits about their individual leadership. They didn't care about their ability to communicate. They didn't care about their ability to delegate. They didn't care how good of a job that other people. It's not that they didn't care that how good of a job they were doing. They didn't go out of their way to improve themselves and the job that they were doing. So they wouldn't really go around asking for feedback. How can I do a better job? They wouldn't be in the book studying. They wouldn't invest in themselves in any form. They would literally just show up and be so insecure about asking for help and getting feedback that they would just rather pretend that they were a good leader than improve themselves to become one. So the third trait of a great leader is that they work on themselves. They do leadership development. They get somebody in their life, or they get a resource in their life, and they improve upon them constantly. They never stop. Guys, I know you guys want to be the exceptional leader. Even if you have doubts that you can't ever be one, you can. Every single person can be a great leader if they apply themselves, and we need it in the world. If you look around, this world is going to shit. We need people building and working towards. We need people building businesses that help the world. We need people that are contributing to businesses that are helping the world. And we need people that are being better leaders in their family and at work. We need this as an economy and a country that, it is so embarrassing when you go out there and you watch all these people that are just low performing and not even trying in life. Be the damn leader. Be the one that strives for that great level. Remember the traits that I said. Number 1, develop trust with your team by taking care of your body. Train, tell them what you're going to do, and do it. Number 2, great leaders are holistically successful. If you guys want the Wheel of Life, message me on Instagram. Just say YouTube Wheel of Life, and I'll give you exactly the model that I teach my clients, okay? And then number 3 is that great leaders work on themselves continuously. They have a leadership development program that they're following all the time. They're working on them. Those are my 3 tips for how you can become a great leader, guys. Appreciate you guys so much. The video was 20 minutes long or so, and I'm working on getting it down to 10 minutes. But want to get this out to you guys today so that you can go out and be a great leader. Run the play. Conquer all.